catering. Oh, or catering it and charging a lot more. Because that's the problem.
Well,
What's the problem with the food? Tell me, like, my husband loved it, and he's kind of a critic. He's been now for a few years, and he's like, they rocked it. It was the best it's ever been. He loved it.
It's a hit and miss.
it is definitely hit or miss.
It really is a hit and miss on the food. Because some people are like, no. Or, and then we've had some hiccups, like the rice. That was hard.
If you came through the first part of the line, it was pretty good. Came through towards the end, it got a little bit cooler, and
My husband went to a restaurant afterwards.
He
He's a pretty good pie at the village, whatever.
well, there you go. They got him out, and they got him to go get something fun.
He was in the beginning of the line, and he just said the portions were a little small for him, but
Okay.
he said they had these little measuring cups.
Yeah.
So
we
he's
did.
like, and he knew why. I mean, obviously, you
Yeah.
had to make sure it went through everyone, but.
I almost think like a food truck would be kind of cool because then maybe they might pay you guys to like be involved, and then people can pick and choose. Like I don't know,
Whatever they
mask
want.
and like that could I
Well,
could see
and
that, and that would be less
if we did
stress.
food trucks, we could have the line outside.
Ahead of time. You come early and get it.
The only question with the food trucks is they're not as reliable.
And Friday night,
They wanna go
make all
somewhere
their
else
money
where they
on
go
this
somewhere.
food truck
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I just did an event on Friday. I'm sorry, I'm talking. So I did our baseball carnival, which was the exact same thing in a sense. So we had 2 food trucks, and they charged roughly around $8 for the hamburger hot dog truck, and about $12 for the queso amore truck. The whole night we had it for a 3-hour event. We made $150 per truck.
Yeah.
So it wasn't much. So if you're looking at it for that, the complaint I got was kind of a lot of money that I didn't want to spend when I wanted to spend it on other things.
Yeah.
And the lines got long. So we had 2 trucks, which they wouldn't have done it if there was more than 2 trucks. And we
Okay.
had 500 families, but I would say I probably had 500 total. So I don't know how many people would be here.
Okay.
I haven't been because I was at my daughter and husband.
The sweetheart dance,
So
350.
if I had 500 families invited to this and they said only as long as it's us 2, we won't do it with more, I don't know that a food truck
Is gonna make us in.
would come and do it for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The food was great. Those who did eat it said they liked it. But I think my husband said he stood. I asked him, I'm like, how long were you in line? He goes, probably 20 minutes.
Okay.
So of your event, is it 2.5 hours, 3 hours? How long is it?
It's almost 3 hours. 6 to 8:30, 2.5 hours.
I don't know how long the line is when you serve the food.
It's long. It gets pretty long. It gets long.
So we did a survey.
But it wasn't
this
as
year.
bad this year as it has been in the past.
We did a survey this year, sent it to everyone who registered. And the feedback was overwhelmingly cater it and charge $10 more.
Oh, it was.
Like, and people on average were willing to pay $35 per couple to go. Like, there were people who were saying like 50 a couple. And people, almost nobody said, that they weren't willing to raise the price. It went from 30 to 50, with very few people at 50. And some people were crazy out of bounds. Not charging that much.
Donate it to us.
I'll take the cash, but, so they overwhelmingly said charge an additional fee and cater it. Like 80% of people.
Is there a way to eliminate the long lines? Like, if you did food trucks, what can you do to, or maybe cater it, but not necessarily?
I had a
If you
question
cater
about
it
many
and you
lines.
set up 2 or 3 lines, then you can eliminate it. There's ways around it.
I think if we restructured how we had it set up, we probably
Right.
could have got more through. It's just the way we had it set up.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really do the breakfast, the pancake breakfast for the volunteers, how they usually have double-sided stations. You could set it up out there and do the.
We had 2
Yeah,
stations.
we were set up here. It's just the way, it was a little too linear in the way that we had it set up, so.
Yeah.
We'll just live and learn.
We can copy your carnival way of looking at it.
I think if we extend out to if we had the food out in the courtyard instead of everything up here, we might be able to do that better. And then do the dancer.
I was gonna say the
It's
outside.
kind of cold,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
too
only
cold.
problem.
It's hit or miss on the
And
weather.
especially for the
You have to play by
kindergartners.
ear.
And you gotta be able to get the electricity.
The average wait time was about 15 minutes for anything. So it's not
wasn't that bad compared to last year.
No, last year when, I didn't
The
come this year,
lines
last year, we
were
waited 45
outrageous
minutes
last
for
year.
So our thought was drop
I
the
was there.
craft, because that's a couple bucks that we don't necessarily need.
Which craft would you drop?
There were
The
necklaces and little
And the
hammer
little
spoons.
My daughter is
It's
obsessed
over
with
the
her
moon about the necklace.
necklace.
I know.
They all like their necklaces.
So
I know.
we could
It's like it was
like,
stuck
they were
around on the
really,
necklaces.
yeah. So, but if we wanted catered, we could drop the necklace and do like a picture frame, which we can get on Oriental Trading for 20 cents. And then they get the pic, and we have two full photo booths next year already reserved. So we could do the picture frame, we could do the double photo booth, and put those couple dollars toward catering, which I looked up catering and it was like, pasta, fettuccine, or red sauce with no meat was like $7, and
Where
add
from?
meat was $1 per person. Floridina's.
Is that, what's the place down in downtown Gilbert, mom and pop shop?
Lancers?
No. It's downtown.
Sal's- oh, the other.
Sal's Pizza,
Oh, Sal's
and they've worked
Pizza.
with us before, and they've donated whole
Yeah.
meals to the teachers and
So
stuff.
that was
like
just
that,
my,
so they
that,
might-
that was from a friend who went to another sweetheart dance and everyone raved about the food.
Yeah.
So, I was,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that
that-
night, there were like 7 friends on Facebook saying, sweetheart dance, sweetheart dance, sweethearts, all at different schools all around the
Yeah.
valley. So I said, hey, what did you guys do?
That's a great idea.
So that just came as a recommendation, but their pricing was not out of the range of possibility if we bumped our price $10, because we're spending $4 per person, $4 or $5 per person now, so a few dollar bump could get it catered. Yeah.
I
So.
would be, I think raising it up, especially if you hear that from your survey response. I'm not a huge fan of the food trucks because they have to be so far removed and then that gets your group farther away. And I just know those lines start to.
How do you guys feel about just not having food at all? Having just desserts?
Would you
Cause you
change
went
the
out
time?
anyway.
I didn't get to go.
That's what I'm saying.
But I did get pie brought back, so I was.
But they went out anyway.
Well, what time does the
Yeah,
average
we do that.
family in Neely eat? I mean, would they have time to eat before they came?
Well, what we would think is change it from 6:30 to 8:30 instead of 6 to 8:30.
And then we could do desserts, and the price would stay the same or even go down.
Go down probably.
We could do desserts and little finger food,
Yeah.
appetizer stuff, and that would come in at like $2 or $3 per person.
But,
So,
I mean, for me, I like that because you can make it like a date night with your kid if you want, you can go somewhere before and then do that. But
See,
it
and that's
just
the thing
depends.
is I'm not gonna have a girl. And she didn't wanna come anymore because she felt last year and the year before and now that everything is geared towards kindergarten through 2nd grade. And there's nothing there appealing for the kids that are 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, especially those 6th graders that, oh, this is my last time, and blah, 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 there's
So what
nothing
would she have wanted?
special. I have no idea.
Craft was definitely not catered towards the little girls.
Those necklaces were.
Well, as I said,
Some
we
of
didn't
those
come this
dads were
time.
not exactly happy about that.
Those tiny little beads.
Well,
No, the
The
spoons.
hammer. Oh, the spoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool.
It was
One
my
of the
kids.
good things about that, we had fun with that.
No, they did. But some of the dads were like, I'm done. I'm out of here. We heard some words.
That's why you gotta name your kids 5 letters or less. Then
Yes.
it's a lot.
Initials. They
Yeah.
should have 5 initials.
As I said, we didn't come this year because she
Yeah.
just figured it was gonna be the same old thing.
Well, we tried. And
Yeah.
we had music, and the music was different because there was games. It was like dancing. activities. And it was,
My husband had that comment, he's like, I loved watching all of those dads be so silly with their daughters, cause
Because
he
it
never
was-
found.
And they
he don't
were
ever heard about it.
it was different than it had been in the past. In the past, it was just music, and this time, there was actual, like, I mean, the dads were challenging the girls, and it was like a dance-off, and it was fun. That was fun.
The thing that worked really well was the waiting list. We had about 15 people on the waiting list, and we let everyone in. Because we had 4 or 5 cancellations on the, up through the Wednesday before. And before, we've always been like, you can have your money back, but we don't know who to call to say, here's a spot that's open. So it was so nice to like make that phone call, hey, did you still wanna go to the dance? Yes, please, thank you, my gosh, made me so happy. So it was really nice to have that waiting list.
Organization.
Yeah,
It was, that was fabulous. It made so many
Online.
people happy.
Yes.
That was
I think
cool.
getting as many in, it's such a big thing, and I know this from the kinder through second grader age, but they look forward to it so
Mhm.
much. It would be interesting as our kids age, though, to find things that make it interesting. I know Kids Night Out, the sixth grade teachers allowed the
Yeah.
sixth graders to go into their classroom, and it was special, and they could
Yeah.
hang out. So maybe even at the Valentine's dance, it's something that we talk about and can come up with creative ideas to make it special for sixth
I
So
grade.
like the boys, okay, so, you know, the boys still are like left out.
Where's our night?
And when they did the one that we came to,
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah,
Yeah.
was with the last one that you guys did.
Yeah, year before.
They really liked that they got to go in one room and for a set time, play video games or some other game against another friend. And then they got to go over here and there's some table thing, and then the board games, they got to meet new people and everything. But as I said, we didn't come to that exercise one, I would not have come to that exercise one. You know,
So-
and then I know in the past they've done, they went to Stratus.
Yeah, they've done laser tag stuff. So one of the only question, or the question you had to answer before you could answer questions about Sweetheart Dance is, what would you like to see, if you were a kid and your school did a mother-son thing, because we were directing it towards the dads, what would you like to see done? Which a lot of them answered, I don't have a son. I'm like, but
They
you
really
were a
answered.
boy, right?
Yeah.
You were.
Did I just
I
know that?
was like,
My
when you
mom.
were a kid, what would you have liked?
Come on.
I don't have a son. Okay, next, anyway, but we have a whole list of suggestions from them. And that friend who did the Sweetheart Dance with Floridinos, their dad's group does it. And I talked to my husband a little bit, and he said if he could find 4 or 5 dads, he would take on the Sweetheart Dance and do the planning for it. It's them,
For the
For the-
mother-son night.
no, he would take on the Sweetheart.
Oh.
The dads plan Sweetheart. And it would be pretty easy this year because we have a DJ for them and we have photo booth for them, so it would really be decorations, theme, and food.
Well,
And let them choose what they wanna do, what they wanna do with their daughters.
Yeah.
Poll them and say, what do you like to do? So, if you talk to husbands, he's like, I have a list of a couple people I could call and tug on the ear, but I'm like, that would be wonderful, timing wise, if we could go from planning Evening of the Arts to planning Carnival and not worry about Sweetheart in the middle of that.
or we could go from and just have Sweetheart Dance and Mother-son night closer together, and we could just worry about Mother-son, and we could have
Mhm.
them worry about Sweetheart.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
So
That would
if
be
your
cool.
husband has ideas and likes to help
Her
Facebook
husband's
people.
forming a committee. Your husband's forming the committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good.
She's in. Is it your husband who wants to do it? Oh, that's awesome.
I wore him down after all this time. I was volunteering. He's like, all right, I'll do something.
He's like, I'm already doing it anyway. I was like, "What else to do?"
I figured him and Terrence, like,
Yeah.
just go for it. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Carnival, unless there's anything else pressing.
Oh, it made $2,500, Sweetheart. Profit.
Okay.
And how many couples did you end up allowing in? How many?
It was 325 kids. So, it was all 160 dads. 160 dads by the time we did.
Like
Yeah.
two, I think.
Yeah.
I wanna say, I think it was 162.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time we did volunteer stuff, so, yeah, 160 was, that's been our average. So.
So roughly you made $8 a person, is that right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Carnival.
How did you guys think it went?
You wanna
How
know
it
how
went
much it
very
made
well.
first?
Sure, let's hear how much it made.
After all the expenses were in and all the things we expect to get from silent auction, it's at 8,500 profit. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. It's a little lower than previous years because of silent auction stuff, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't see anybody, I don't know that it was fun, I didn't make it past those gates right there the whole night, not once. So it looked fun as people were walking out, though, they had big smiles.
I saw a lot more, you know, a lot less kids on the basketball court than in years past. Cause in years past, there were people in lines and droves on the basketball courts, and there weren't there this year.
We had the lines going the other direction.
No, but even still, there weren't that many. I mean, the lines were either moving really fast, or there really weren't that many kids that did individual games. They were all out in that field.
There were
doing
a
stuff.
lot of people out in that field, way more than there was last year. A
Two
lot.
petting zoos. That poor turkey was getting mean.
Those animals are actually film animals.
Yeah.
So they are trained and they're specifically, so they're not
They're used
too
to
bad,
being
but they're used to being animals.
Did you guys all go to the carnival?
My
I did.
family did, I did.
Yeah, you had other kids there.
My husband actually had one of the booths
Okay.
out there, and so, and there was only like 4 booths. There was us, there was the karate, the honey, and then the pie guys. And I kinda talked to all of them, cause I was, you know, teasing my children, but still trying to like talk. And the one thing that was like a census was like, there wasn't enough light. Light
You know
was a
what
big
happened?
problem, and they felt like there wasn't a lot of foot traffic.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't notice that section till the end of the
Yeah,
night.
a lot of
I didn't
people
know there was.
didn't even know we were
They were
there.
out in the field.
They were all out in the field,
Yeah.
which is funny, cause they had to go that way to get through to the
They
field.
just like went behind
Oh, we went
to
by
the
the
petting
balloon
zoo
animals.
or, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you went around this
Yeah.
way.
So many
Music
people
was,
went
that's where a
the
lot of
other
people
way.
were going through, that there was a gap between the balloon animals and the next one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's what a lot of people did.
Okay.
I
so.
never saw that. See, we had it set up so
We,
that it
we
wouldn't.
intended to funnel them
We
towards you
intended
guys.
to funnel them all
That's
that way.
funny.
Caution tape boundary.
Yeah.
The funny
Yeah.
part, the
Well,
funny
we
part
could
behind
walk
the
off a little
lights, I just forgot to ask to have the lights,
Turned on?
the actual, because all the other lights I had gone and turned on, I forgot to have the campus lights out there turned on, and that would have lit that area. That's
And a
what-
lot
our
of them
fault.
were like,
that was my
we would have
fault.
been fine if we had known there wasn't gonna be lights, we would have brought lights.
No, it would have been lit.
Yeah.
Had I gone over and had,
Look at the
that was
sunshine.
that was literally my fault.
Sometimes
Turn
we
it
feel
on.
dark for each other, but we don't always know where we're supposed to fill in for each other.
If you're ever in the dark, you can come find someone in a Neely shirt. We can
Okay.
turn on lights.
I know, sorry, cause that was totally my fault. I even made sure I had them go announce at the thing that we had vendors and that they were, you know, and like everybody, like go visit all the booths and everything like that. I didn't know that they were going around. I thought it was weird too. Cause it was like, as many people that were out in the field,
Yeah. I
I
hardly saw anybody.
never saw them go.
It's because of the food and the tables, like I know
Kinda
people,
like
like I was
blocked
trying not to
the-
walk between people trying to eat and get their food.
So
I was
maybe we
trying to
move the
avoid
vendors
that
as people
section,
naturally
not
go,
knowing about
instead of
that.
trying to make people go where they don't wanna go.
Well, and also,
I didn't know. That's where it
see
naturally
much, I didn't see much other than the karate because, okay, so you're sitting here and you're trying to negotiate around people that are trying to get their food and you don't wanna run into them, and then you go out into the field, and the way the karate set up, I had to go through the blue playground to get around them, and so I didn't go this way, you know,
I wonder
because,
if we put them in the middle of the field, where you can't
They
be
could
missed.
have.
cause
Like,
they're, well,
right by the-
but the
right
parent,
by
are the
the-
parent,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like,
then
that's
the
what he
light.
was saying, he was like, we should have been like, right, like, have the games on the, or the rides on at the way back, and
The way
then like
back.
right in the middle have the booth.
but you know where the
We could do
parents
that.
are?
Yeah, we could do
We
that.
could have done, that wouldn't have been a problem at all. But
Yeah.
we could have had you right by the light area,
Yeah.
like around
Yeah.
the light area, and
But
that
you-
would have been
But you know where the adults are at? 'Cause
right
you-
there, actually.
They're, okay, so you know where the
Because I saw
petting zoo was? You know where the petting zoo was? There's a line of camp chairs.
I know.
Right out there. So that, right in front of them, between them and the games, is
I
where
know,
you
I
want
had to ask
the
them to
vendors.
move so I could turn the lights on, because the minute I popped that engine, they all got blown with the
Yeah.
gas from the lights.
So, you know, I think we should tell our vendors, if you brought 5 camp chairs with you, you would have a captive audience that night of parents. I can just sit here. Okay, I'll sit and listen to you. I'll talk.
And my husband, he's not a good planner, like, I'll be honest.
But
He didn't
next
even
year,
think
for
about
sure.
bringing a table, so I
Yeah.
had to go buy a table.
Oh, no.
Could you also maybe like put, you know, like the cute little sign where it's the arrows?
Like the
Like
direction
once,
signs.
yeah,
Oh,
once
yeah.
you get out to the basketball area, maybe
You need another one?
have another sign. Because
Okay.
like we walk always to the right, but not everyone, because we're used
Yeah, I
to
know,
doing
we're
that.
used to
But
going that way.
other people were going to the left.
Left.
So we were just assuming everyone's gonna go
Yeah.
the way that we typically go.
Yeah.
But if there's signs saying, check out our vendors, or, you know, this is where the
Okay.
games are, or the rides are, you know, just more cutesy,
Yes.
direct, cause
We can make
that little
more of
sign is
those.
perfect, but just have like step 2 out
Yes.
there to
It
say.
also goes to how much there weren't a lot of vendors. Did you guys?
We didn't book, we try not to book a bunch of vendors. I mean, we do that on purpose.
Yeah, cause you don't
So-
wanna be like,
You don't wanna be one of
Right.
20.
yeah, bombarded and you're like, I'm just at a function, I don't wanna be like.
I
Yeah.
mean, we
But-
try to make it so it's not,
Yeah, 5 or 6 is
Overwhelming.
about all
Yeah.
we've ever done.
we've not
Is there a
tried.
way of intermixing the vendors with the carnival booths? Like,
We've done that in the past
Does
and
not
we've had
work.
lots of complaints.
Oh my gosh, they totally complained.
Cause they
Does
can't, the
parents
kids
do
are
it?
up around
Does the kids
them.
go and do it without the
Not the
parents'
vendors,
knowledge?
the parents, yeah.
The parents
So
complained.
especially the karate ones where they're spinning and then they come with the ads and the kids are like, Mom, let's go get free karate, and they're like, we're not doing
It's like
karate, you already have
feedback
karate
with
lessons
seven
on
of us.
Wednesday. So parent complaints on that end. Yeah. I mean, I don't, wouldn't be opposed to putting them near the booth, but not necessarily intermixed
right.
with the booth.
Well, by the rides, it seems,
I think by the rides,
Yeah,
really
because
is the more
people are in
sensible.
line again.
Yeah.
Because
So
they're
when they
out
go
there,
talk,
they
the
were
kid
all
can see
out
it.
there, they were all chatting, I mean, it was kind of quite a gathering
Yeah.
place out there, so I think that would have been a way better place.
Bring 5 chairs and we'll knock $5 off the vendor price.
They must have been they must have been going to the booths, because as far as like prizes and stuff like that, all of it was handed out. I just ran out of all the prizes, so at some point, somebody was going to them. It just, maybe they just never got to a point where it was queued up.
Are you talking about the
The
vendor
lines.
booths?
No,
No,
the
the carnival
booths.
with lines.
Those were
Yeah.
perfect for when you first came, before it got busy. We did
Mhm.
those and then ran out to the other
Yeah,
side.
but I don't think, I didn't ever see any huge lines on them, you're right, it was never.
What if you put like the vendor booths behind the big toy? Cause that space was like not really.
Behind the big toy is where the zoo is,
Yeah.
our petting zoo.
And then the parents were under the trees.
Yeah.
To do like the big zoo over there.
Over by Tetherball.
So unless someone, like the vendors like out there and know that people could.
I think
think
because it was too close to the petting zoo. is too
Okay, so I think we've got some good ideas that we could draw out 3 or 4 different ideas on how to set it up and where
Yeah.
to set it up. And maybe play with that and put that in for the new board that comes
Are you
in.
guys okay
Can
with
I
it still
just share
being March?
one other, oh, sorry.
Please.
Are you still good with it being early March versus early April?
I think the weather was perfect.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, the
perfect.
weather's
It's not
I
too
know it
hot.
runs into
It's
baseball.
always gonna be the same day as the baseball one, which it's just a handful of Neely kids, so for the school, it's really good.
So we
There
look at
was-
the
there was
schedule
a
next year
lot
for spring
going on.
break.
Yeah.
Can you,
Yeah,
what,
this year
okay,
was a
what's the
bit more.
difference between profit that we've made over the, say, the last 5 years, having it, I know 2 years we've had it at the beginning, and 2 years at least we've had it at the end of March. Can you see what the difference is?
Has nothing to
I don't
do
think
with
that has
timing
anything.
whatsoever.
Is it the amount
It's
of,
everything to do
auction
with
items?
silent auction, and, corporate donations.
Yeah.
Our actual costs and, like, our wristbands cover the rides and lights. And then our ticket sales are the raffle and the food. And the food, it usually makes $1,000, $1,500. We make a few $100s off of the rides and the wristbands, those are pretty much at cost. The rest is the raffle. So on years that we have iPads and barbecues, huge profit. Years where we have smaller baskets that are worth $150, I actually kept the tickets, I'm gonna have student council count them out for us. But we're not getting, I don't see very many people sitting at the cashier's table all night. Almost nobody came back out and bought more tickets. Usually there's people coming back out, oh my gosh, I saw this amazing basket, I need 20 more tickets, that didn't happen, the baskets were not amazing enough, and we didn't have Southwest Airlines tickets.
We didn't have Disneyland.
We didn't have Disneyland, and that's almost $1,000 in profit.
Disneyland
instantly.
stopped giving.
No, they started again this year.
Yeah, but,
Do you want me to, next
Yeah.
year, spring break is at the same time, so like, it would be, if we followed our pattern, the carnival would be that Friday, March 1st, and then Friday the 8th is a half day, and then we have spring break. Going into the end of March, there's Easter's farther back next year, so it's not
Yeah, that
until-
makes a huge difference.
Till
too.
April 21st.
Yeah, 'cause
so So we could do it the week after
Yeah.
Carnival, after break?
After break.
The week after or 2 week, well,
Cause
The
you have,
week after
you have,
break.
if you're talking about Fridays in March, it's the 22nd or the 29th, because you don't have, you don't have the
Till the
spring
29th,
holiday
right?
until April 19th.
and the 29th won't interfere with AZ Merit starting?
I can't guarantee that.
I was gonna say
That's
the
given to us by the
22nd.
state,
Yeah.
but if I can make assumptions based on
April.
historically, they've always done April.
I would say the 22nd, I know it's the week after break, but I feel like if we went to the 29th, we're risking weather,
Mhm.
and the 22nd.
Well,
is
can I
like the
caution you
super-
on the 22nd though, in that they're adding back in, so spring break
Oh,
is
those
really a
Oh,
week and a
a
day.
couple days.
Yeah, so
And
you're
then,
only gonna have.
then the
4 days.
19th, then you would only have 4 days. You lose that Monday, cause their spring break
Yeah.
is the 18th and the students come back on the 19th.
I would think about the
29th.
29th.
So the 29th, if you're gonna move it to the end of the month, you
Okay,
either
so
move
it's
it
either the first or the 29th.
29th.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it.
I'm gonna look at the weather on the 29th.
Yeah.
Do I wanna do it? No.
Yeah, and we got lucky because like the week before it was freezing.
Yeah.
So it's so hit or miss.
One thing, I'm so into sports with our family, but winter sports ends that weekend and spring sports begin that Saturday afterwards. So if you're kind of looking at availability of families who are all involved in like I-9 sports or Little League sports, right now what you have is actually a very perfect date.
Okay.
Because you'll get most participation, I think, that's my opinion.
On the first?
On the first, because all winter sports are
Over at the
ended,
last of February.
and the winter or spring starting.
This Saturday.
are
And the
ending.
weather is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the weather is nice.
That Saturday, March 2nd, will be the first day of like Little League in Gilbert Chandler area.
Okay.
I do have to say though that Friday was really busy. We had 3 carnivals that night.
Oh, you did?
So, I mean, cause I know other schools were doing the same.
Yeah, in our
All this
district,
stuff.
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
there
Delays
was
did it.
4 that I know of that had carnival on the same night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I know we
And
had
and we had a discussion about this last week at GCA about how they need to be more cognizant of what's going on when they set dates in the elementary feeder schools, because like tonight, like that Friday night, you know, they're splitting the families. I said, I'm taking my children to the carnival because I'm not gonna just drop my daughter off at the barbecue bingo or whatever function you decide to have that night. I'm like, where's your family gonna go? Where all the family is gonna go and have fun at the carnival? Or I'm gonna go and make everybody suffer, you know, half my family suffer to go to this barbecue bingo and sit there and play bingo.
Well, you know what, Desert Ridge Junior, and don't quote me on the elementary school, I wanna say Canyon Rim, so please don't quote me. One of the east schools, maybe Meridian, I don't know, they do a joint carnival, and it is like carnival rides, carnival, because they have the ginormous parking lot. And so they're able to set up on a solid ground, where like we have all this space, so.
Yeah.
you wanna do
The
a joint-
district
You-
has rules about that.
Yeah.
You could
I don't know where they're
block
getting it
off,
from, and you didn't hear that from me.
block off part of the street though, because we have a.
You could get permission from the city, yeah,
Yeah.
and just
if you
block the
wanted
street.
Those kind of rides. for them.
Maybe the limitation is because it's field and not.
Street.
No, it's the
Stop.
insurance. The insurance won't cover it, is what I was told.
But maybe the insurance won't cover it because it's field, not street.
I know that
It
their
can be
concern
over
is the
11
rock
feet
wall.
No,
Yeah.
they can't, they said it can't
We've
be
had a
anything
rock wall
over 11.
before.
Yeah, they instituted new rules a couple
It
years
says
ago.
no
rules
rock
on
walls,
the
no
rock
bounce
wall.
houses, and nothing over 11 feet tall.
We have bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those weren't.
They're no,
Those
they're,
are bounce
they're obstacle
houses.
Well, I understand that.
They are
You
obstacle.
can have blow-ups,
courses.
they're
Yeah.
obstacle courses. That's fine.
Inflatable obstacle courses.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
No
my
place
school
where
was
you
one of
going.
them, and someone
Charge.
broke their leg.
I think those are more
Yeah.
fun, because otherwise
Yeah.
they bump heads.
Well, yeah, cause all it is a bunch of bodies slamming into each other in there.
But
You can't.
All right, if nobody has anything else to say about carnival, we'll move on to Kids Night Out, upcoming events.
Oh, I did wanna add,
Thank you for the food.
Yes, thank you so much, Becky, for the food, that was very nice.
that, I was talking to one of the moms at the bus stop this week, and she made a really nice comment, because school's a struggle for her child, and she mentioned how, you know, when we do have carnival and we do have kids' night out, that it makes school a fun place for her kid to come. And her kids had just such a great time, and it just made me feel so good to get that thanks, you know, of, you know, why it's important that we're here doing this, so. I did wanna pass that.
It's very sweet.
That was my warm fuzzy.
Okay, so kids night out, we have, I talked to a guy, and he said he would come and do an astronomy lesson with the kids out on the field.
And he can do it with 300 kids?
Well, I said we would do it in shifts.
Okay.
What guy?
His name is,
Bill
Mr.
Nye?
Peter.
Oh.
No, he's just a friend, but he has like 3 telescopes and
What's
he
his
knows
first
about
name?
stuff. Larry.
But does it need to be completely dark?
Well, I think we're gonna do it out on the grass field, and if we just don't turn on any of those lights, I think we should be okay.
But what time is sunset?
Is it
Is that
April
far
6th?
into April?
It'll be 30 minutes.
April 27th, so 6-ish.
Yeah, so it would be
Oh,
30
no,
minutes.
April, no, it's gonna
Seven.
be
Lighter.
7.
Yeah, so you're gonna be
And that's what I was
longer.
thinking.
So that would
It would
run
be
into
30-minute shifts, starting at 7, so it'd be 7, and so 30, then 8. And we would do 3 shifts of kids that would come out here.
Do that instead of the movie?
I'm almost thinking drop the movie because so many kids are just
Yeah,
not
it's
watching
right.
it. It's just so much
And
crowd
we had
control.
way more participation when we have this be an educational night, more than just like a drop your kid off and babysit night. Because I don't think really families are really interested in babysitting. They want their kids to learn and have fun at the same time, so.
I think a
Some
shorter
sort of-
movie would be good or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
like a 45-minute fun cartoon,
4:40.
an hour.
Like a,
Bugs Bunny or something.
Yeah,
you know.
something.
Sunsets at 7:07.
Yeah.
Roll Hunters, that's the one my kids watch on Netflix.
I like the idea of having it for the intermediate, like
Yeah.
4 through 6. I don't know that the littles would be interested in it though. I think
I
we
don't
should
think
still
so.
have a movie for them.
I think you might also have some broken telescopes.
K3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Or
we
we
Which
should
don't
one,
have
you
to
know
do
what?
it all,
movie for
that's
them.
okay too.
That, I like the idea of the older kids for it a lot, and shifting them 4th, 5th, and 6th, half hour each is plenty for all of them to get through. And then K3, that takes that crowd control to like
Yeah, we're taking 4th and
50,
5th out of it.
yeah, we're taking 50% of the, or I mean 40% of the kids out of there.
Well, I have another friend who does balloons, so I was thinking we could have a balloon lady come and do balloons.
I
For the little ones?
also have an incredible magician who's performed at the Constitution Fair night, and he also performed at our Cub Scout night the other week. And he definitely
Maybe to do
thrills
that
the crowd
instead
of.
the movie.
We have a juggler that's
Yeah.
a parent. I'm
Yeah.
totally throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
You should throw the teacher under the bus for that
See,
stuff too,
I almost
Mr.
want to.
Yeah.
But, and
So
somebody
it's
had
supposed
mentioned a
to do
stem cell or sorry.
STEM night. So,
STEM night.
yeah, and that's, I think, where we're going with the telescopes. I think, because we don't do assemblies, sometimes the kids miss out on things like a magician or a firefighter or things like that, and maybe we can incorporate, and like, we had the animal guide come, that was a huge draw.
That was a huge draw.
So many parents are like, oh my gosh, cool, wild animals, yeah, we're in. So I'm looking.
My kids still talked about it last night, about the snakes.
So I think if we pull in some of those things that are traditional assembly things, because we don't do them here,
I think the fire
maybe we
truck
could
would
pull
be
them in.
amazing.
I
Over
have
the
a
next few
question on the
kids'
fire
night out.
truck. Can we talk one of the dads into doing the fire truck thing like the one dad used to do for the 6th graders? Cause right now, in 6th grade, we have, I think, 3 children that have dads that are firefighters that work right down here at this
Yes, yeah.
station.
There are actually. But that has, I think that's a field day thing.
That is on field day.
It's on
and
field
it's,
day, and they, for the
have to be
6th
able to
graders.
leave if they get a call.
Yeah, so they
obviously,
just
but-
park on
Right.
Neely and
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, they
Spray it
park
on
on
the
the
fence.
far side of Neely because it's a high pressure hose, and the kids like stand there and they just nail them with it.
Well,
It's hysterical and they love everything.
I
about
was
it.
told it goes up and then over.
Well, it does,
Nice
but-
waterfall.
But they still nail them.
But if they get on the fence, if they see them climbing on the fence, it's. No, they had a blast with it, and we just, because we lost that parent 2 years ago,
They haven't come back.
they haven't come back. You know, so it's like, right now we have,
also haven't asked.
we have,
Yeah, we didn't.
I'm sorry, I keep calling him Tony Stark, maturing. It's like, I don't know, it's just a thing the kids think, you know, he's a superhero, he's a fireman, so they think Tony Stark, Tony maturing, you know, so they just call him Tony Stark. And then, Who's the other one?
Rick Resch.
Rick Resch, but he's out in Tempe, isn't he,
Okay.
still?
I think so.
And then there's, Katie's dad, what's Katie's?
Mowat or?
Or not Kate, yeah, Kate, Katie, it might be Hodges, I don't know. I know he hurt his back last year, but he's a firefighter too. So-
And Sigmund's
Anyway.
husband is
Sigmund's not married, you mean Jeff, is that his name? All the kids said, we got to meet, is that his name? Is it Jeff or John? Yes, they got to meet Jeff, the Jeff.
Anyway, back to Kids Night Out. What do you guys think? Telescope interesting for your older kids?
Well, I think the movie is good for the younger. I still think you need
Balloons and
something to-
movie for the younger one?
The young.
Yeah.
Balloons and
And a shorter movie, like an hour and 15-minute movie.
Or we could do the
Instead.
magician guy.
I think the magician thing would be,
Magician's awesome.
yeah, I think the kids would love that.
What if we do the magician and the balloon guy as rotations, as
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
activity rotations? Still do the movie for the littles, have the telescope out there in the field for the intermediate kids.
Yes.
I like that.
The sun is supposed to set at 7:08 p.m.
So that'd be just about right, finish that
Half
third
hour
rotation and then send them out in the
So
field.
they'd get
7:30
playground
before it
time,
starts.
they'd get magician, they'd get balloons. And honestly, sixth graders still, they get swords, and they just beat each other with swords instead.
Well, sixth grade does their own thing though, so it'd be,
Yeah,
Yeah, so fifth
yeah,
grade.
so we don't worry about them with the rotations.
So fifth grade.
Yeah, but they
fifth
would,
graders still
they
play
would
with
want to
balloons.
be in the rotation for stuff like that. I'll
They
tell you.
might.
They
Magician-
enjoy, the reason
yeah.
why they go in and they play video games and do whatever in there is because they're bored with the stuff that we've
With the
been
book
doing.
and the-
They came out for the animals and
Oh,
they
they did.
loved it.
See, they're flexible though, because we could look at where our lowest registration is
Yeah,
and just feed
Mix
them
'em
in
in.
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That might work really nicely,
That
to
would be
have
good.
something totally different for them.
Yeah.
Magician for half an hour is just about the right amount of time. Balloon animals, I don't know if you can do those in half an hour. What if,
Maybe they could make some in advance so
Ants.
that everybody,
Have
the
a bunch of
littles.
flowers,
That
a bunch of
lady,
swords.
I was watching her, she can make
A bunch
it
of
in,
dogs.
like,
but you're talking
2
about
seconds.
50 kids,
Yeah.
50, 60
Right.
kids, so even at a minute
No.
each, you don't have enough
You
time.
don't have
So,
enough time. You need to have them made.
Swords,
You have-
flowers, dogs.
Yeah, things that the
You
kids
would have
always
to
ask
have, like,
for.
20 of them.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
You know what, there's a
Balloon.
parent who said that he would come do
You
balloon
have to have a couple
animals, yeah.
The
Yeah,
magician,
you
the
can have-
magician does them too.
Talking too about
Magician
doing
does
bounce
them.
you. Having bounce you come and do
Oh,
balloons or
Yeah.
face painting, cause they do that for free.
Didn't they come in?
They
They
did
did
for the
the
carnival.
carnival.
For the carnival, yeah, the bounce you. I don't like them doing the face painting.
because they'll paint anything?
Well, no, they just really, it really wasn't that great.
No, but we're not paying them.
I know.
Well, we're not paying them.
That, they also use that, the cheaper, face paint makeup. I say cheaper because it's what it's made out of, and the red is more likely.
Does it not come off?
It
Wait,
doesn't-
are you
Well,
talking
no.
about for carnival?
Yeah, the red paint, no,
Oh, that wasn't bounce you, this.
No,
it was just-
last year. We had, didn't Bounce You came in last year or the year before for carnival?
Not for face painting, I don't
Not
think.
for face
No.
painting.
That's
They've only done
always been
balloons.
us.
Oh, they like the balloons?
Yeah,
Okay.
We
that's
do it.
us. We do it. Anyway, so if we could get a couple balloon people, and we could get the magician to do it, then we could have those 2 rotations plus a rotation outside on the playground, right? No, that's before they eat.
Yeah, that's before they eat. We'd have to have something. in
There
place.
couldn't be
a
any
third
kids
one.
out there anymore.
Are we putting a
Yeah.
cap on it? Because remember fall kids night out was really
It got
big.
huge, yeah. What, same size as Sweetheart, 300 kids? Do we feel about that, 300 or
Wasn't it-
350?
Does that
How
sound
many did you
right?
have in the
Push it
fall?
too high?
Yeah,
350 or more?
350 is too much.
300?
Too much.
275?
300 is doable. 300 is doable.
275 with a waiting list?
I think
Yeah, and
it's
then we
easier
can let
manage
people
if
in
we
on
do
the
it
wait list if
online,
we need
too.
to.
Yeah,
And I can do it online only, like we did Sweetheart.
yeah.
So we don't have to worry about paper forms flooding in the last minute.
That's the worst.
Yeah. Okay.
It's nice to have a couple of days that this is what you've got to be able to.
Yes, because we need more name
plan,
tags.
adjust, tweak.
We need more name tags and we need more teachers with lists than we had in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
Yeah.
clothing drive. Are you accepting stuffed animals?
Yes,
Okay, I thought.
that got answered too.
Okay.
Who is this going to, all the stuff that we're doing?
I'm trying to
Well, yeah, we donate it to Sunshine Acres. Well, we,
It's a children's home.
It's a children's
Is
home
it? Okay.
in Gilbert.
And they run a thrift store.
And a boutique, and they go through everything, but they go through everything first, and if they need anything for the children, they'll pull it out and they'll use it for the children. But what we also do is, okay, they only pay us for certain things, but we started last year, we always go through everything because we have to sort it in trash bags and boxes, and throw out the trash, but, we started last year, there's a mother, who does these garage sales back to back for like 4 garage sales back to back. And a lot of the stuff that we know that we can make money off of, or that they're not gonna pay us anything for, but they're gonna haul it away, and
Like
she
the
can sell
furniture.
it, like the furniture, lamps, bigger things, things that aren't 18 by 18 by 18 or whatever. She'll sell in the garage sale and cut us a check.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did quite a bit last year.
Yeah, and you know, but the thing is, what we have to do is we have to remember that, well, maybe we need to do something for her. Meaning, like last year, it just happened that somebody donated, one of those really nice clothing stands that you probably would have spent $25 on, and I'm like, okay, it's yours. You know,
So she can hang
because
her stuff in the
she
future,
can hang
yeah.
our stuff and their stuff, and she doesn't have to take anything out of pocket, and it's our thank you for her helping us by doing that.
So we earned $650 in the fall off of it.
Yeah,
Off the
and that was low
But no,
participation.
Well, no, that's about 750 to 400 and 400 are what we
Right.
had.
Did we say what we made off of the garage sale that she did?
150.
It's on my computer, but it's,
I think it was
It was 150 because we were talking about
Yeah.
buying a small tree.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, supply drive is March 26th through the 29th. And school kits, what were you gonna say about that?
Kim's got that. So she's already contacted them. We have a sample in here and we do it at orientation when Mrs. Green does orientation. So
Is it the
those-
same?
it's back
It's
to
the
the
same
name
as-
brand ones.
Yes, it's back to the good one. The one everybody likes.
Yeah. So teachers are already working on their list and they'll be out soon. I think Allison was even working on it before Kim contacted her. She's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, here, thank you. So Kim Brass, who works in the office,
So trying to streamline 6th grade, since they
Yeah.
don't need the duplicate,
Yeah, they-
all 3 teachers don't need the same thing.
Yeah, so they're just working out the last kinks and then they'll get it in there and then it'll be online orders through the company or paper forms for us.
Okay. Teacher and assistant of the year, Green and two.
The district is doing the Gilbert Public Schools Teacher of the Year again this year, and they're adding in like the support staff of the year. And our teacher selected this year was Mrs. Guthrie. For those of you who don't know, she's one of our kindergarten teachers. And the support staff of the year is Miss Allison, my administrative assistant. Part of it is a dinner, and the district is asking for support in doing a centerpiece for the 2 people going, that it's $100 to $150 max per item. And then like what they were doing last year, and like what PTO did last year was the gift basket became like gift cards. It was our teacher of the year saw her favorite things, and she was just like beside herself, like, oh my gosh, how did you know I liked all this stuff? So that's what a lot of the tables at the dinner was. It, almost like the tree from the fundraising thing where you
So is it,
look like a tree and
so is it like
gift cards.
individual for each person at the table?
Well, the 2 winners, so it'd be Miss Guthrie and Miss Allison at our table would have, so basically their gift becomes the table decoration.
Okay.
So, but and last year we did and I think Miss Davidson still has it, so I don't know if we want to take it away from her.
The castle?
It was a castle. It was the coolest thing. I forget who made it, but so all the
Jen
gift
Hammer.
cards were in the castle, and it was really cool.
Jen Hammer made it.
And so she still has it. So I don't
Maybe
think
she
we
would
can take
loan
away.
it out for the table decoration. She gets it
Have
back,
another one
and the
made.
people get the gift cards, but she gets her castle back.
Can we borrow these for the evening? So
We can talk to Jen and see if she'll
Maybe
do
we
it.
need to talk to Jen.
Jen and see if she'll make another one for us, 2 more.
So that was, that's on April 12th. Is that dinner.
April 12th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we, I think well, we have money to talk about spending, but, can we shoot for like 100 for each person? I feel like that's fine.
But do you need to take, in, like, the person that last year that made that thing, like, do you need to do like another?
Take that into account.
$25 for wrapping your like pulling it together kind of thing?
I'm trying to remember if she donated or, she did. She
Did
did
she?
donate
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think she has fun doing that kind of stuff. It's like her, I've seen her craft room.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
She just has fun making stuff, so we'll ask her and see if she can do maybe a couple mini ones of it. Little baby.
Tree funding progress, or are we gonna vote on that?
I don't know what the exact, we got, I don't know, around $100 or something, $125 on it,
I thought it was just under 100.
something like that. Where is it? Here, it's on my computer.
It was like 95.
Yeah, maybe, that's
I think it was like 95.
So
It
it's
was just under 100 for the tree. We need 300, I
You
believe.
guys know
we're
what tree we're talking about?
just about
Out.
95 bucks.
Do you remember when the kids were in kindergarten, there was a beautiful tree outside of Mrs. Green's office?
You mean
And
the
it was
dying
nice and
palm tree?
shaded. It was
Oh.
shaded. There was like this, a
Like
really
croak.
nice tree, and it was shaded. Before that palm fell down, there was another tree there.
I don't think
And
I've ever seen another tree.
It was, I remember standing in the shade, cause I did kinder PM, and that was the, like, we had to stand on this side, and we wanted to be over there, because that's where the tree was, and this had no tree. Or this tree wasn't big enough, so we were sweaty. But there were trees there, there's a nice tree there to shade all those parents waiting at 3:30 in August, and they're miserable, so we were talking about raising the $300 to get one put in.
It's $300 for and that's half the price.
To get a big tree, right?
Yeah, to get a big one. And they'll come out and they'll dig it and bury it.
I think we had
And
a
then
lot of
guarantee it.
parents like stoked and ready and doing it, and then the weather cooled off, and then they're like, we're good.
Yeah.
Maybe just put the bucket out once it starts.
It's
raining.
like-
But we need to have it in place.
You have to,
We
yeah,
could
you have
do
to
it
plant
for-
it in the cooler months, or
Right.
you're
Yeah.
gonna croak it fast.
If we
Yeah.
wanted to, we could plant $150 ones,
But it's not
a
like
smaller
it's
one, but it
not
won't.
4 years.
Yeah, it'll take 4 years for it to be anything. So,
I motion that we spend what we need to spend to get a tree there, assuming we can get the drip working the way it's supposed to.
And
You feel like it should?
I think it's just been capped,
Okay.
because,
You think there's enough water there for
Mhm.
that tree?
yeah.
and they said that the tree didn't require a whole lot of watering anyway, that a lot of those trees usually survive off of a lot of just the water that rainfall comes. It comes from the rainfall, it's not a water.
A lot of the trees.
What kind of tree is it?
Red something?
Yeah, I have it written down.
It's not like a mesquite tree?
Yeah.
No, it's a fluffy reddish.
It's a big fluffy tree and the leaves go red in the fall at the
Okay, we're not.
Okay, so I motion we spend up to $350 for tax purposes to buy a tree out front.
I second.
I said, all in favor?
Oh, who motion?
Me.
Randy.
All in favor?
Aye. Alright, we're just putting a tree in.
Yay.
Okay,
I'll tell 'em.
alright, just as a heads up, are we taking suggestions tonight for
Yeah.
board positions? Okay, all board positions are officially open. And we have a couple people who are running again, so Randy is running for treasurer again, and Roxanne is running for secretary. But the rest of us are not coming up, so go ahead and you can nominate people. Or if you'd like to nominate yourself, we'd love to put you on here.
Am I allowed to share, 'cause somebody came to me?
Yeah, great.
Sure.
Take it.
Okay, for president is, Pete Mueller.
He did it last year and said he didn't wanna do it, and he's the one that said he
That's us.
before that.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah, he did.
And then, no, that was mine, hold on. Let me look it up.
Or should we say Pete was the president, but Carrie did everything.
Yes.
Carrie said. And I think that's why Pete didn't continue, is because they were changing up with stuff in their household, and she said, I'm not doing it.
Christine Boyles for vice president.
Yeah, they were the president.
Alright. Sounds good.
So how does it refresh my memory? Like, did you, cause you have the box out front.
Read the box, and
Okay.
anybody can be nominated up until, I think, the
Next meeting.
the next meeting, and then they get sworn in.
Please ask the person before you nominate them.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you, what happens if like, all of a sudden 10 parents wanna be president, then do we have to hold
We have to
elections?
vote. Yeah.
We have a vote.
And then that's
And
at the
anyone
May?
who's a paid PTO
April.
member can vote.
Okay.
Anybody who's a paid PTO member can vote.
So you're asking for votes from now until May? or
No,
you're
We're asking for
We're gonna get,
nominations.
Nominations.
Up until May.
Up until April
April.
7th.
And anybody
have
who
to have-
attends.
Don't you have to have 45 days before, or no, you just have to have, I don't know what our
The bylaws are just, in April, the nominations are set, and then
Okay,
in
and then
May is
April
the
you
election.
vote.
In April we vote,
And
and
like
May we
last
swear
year,
in.
And May swears in.
there was one person here who was a paid PTO person who voted us all in.
So, yeah, you have to
that's
do-
how that works.
If there's more than one candidate per thing, then we hold, then it can't just be this kind of thing, it has to be paid PTO members voting.
Okay.
Does that mean like, cause I paid online to be, so that's.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have a
You
list of
can
all the people
vote.
who are
I can
that way.
vote.
Can they
So
do
you
it
got the
online
power.
voting?
That's what,
might
yes,
actually matter.
that's what we'll do, is we'll have you sign in with your email address, and you can pick only one, and you get to vote only once.
One per category.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so.
So if you wanna come to Neely's PTO.
Are you guys just
GCA.
gonna do like
I don't do
one, are
GCA
you gonna do like
PTO.
We can do
OBPs or
codes.
anything
I
like
just
that?
do
It's
the
more
clothing
board
drive.
members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it'll be
first,
So
Yeah,
if I put your
definitely
name
the more we
back
can
in?
divide it, the more.
Mine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll be honest,
okay with,
can I be sincere? When I originally did this, I was living in a house. I don't have internet like every other human being on this planet. This is my internet, and this is very hard to do, as I've done. Thank heavens Randy's as handy as she is, because I would say it's been a challenge. So,
yeah, the apartment thing doesn't help.
no.
And
I wanna
she keeps
say
going,
it's
I have that in
super
storage.
amazing, and you will learn a lot, and you will get to grow a lot, and that I feel like I may not have contributed much, but I learned a lot. So you might as well come and do it, people, because
So-
it's so worth it.
So here's the other thing is, as much as we love all the board members, what is really helpful is committee chairs.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
if
gosh.
you take on, she's still doing t-shirts, I'm not letting her not do those. So like, I don't have to worry about those, and like Dobby has done restaurant nights for us. We haven't had to spend any
clothing
time.
drive.
And clothing drive, like those things, we haven't spent
Or
any of
box
our
tops.
energy on it.
Kids
We
night.
just say,
Oh, we should probably
yeah.
coming up for another round of that, I think.
yeah, we do box tops, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, having those things covered, and you guys ship us a flyer, and we copy it, and we put it in boxes, and we're done. It's just, it's so nice. So having, if you don't feel like you can take on board member things, but you're like, you know, I'm really good, or I really love this part of it.
Yeah, we like have a poster maker lady.
Yeah,
Like
Susan Cooper's gonna do posters all year
Heather
for us.
McNeil for
Oh,
also
there's been
clean.
good-
Yeah.
She has been amazing this year.
I have a question, just cause I just thought about it, not to get off the
Yeah.
subject. Do we have the clothing drive and any other fundraisers or anything coming up being on the marquee right now?
It should be, our new receptionist is the one that's managing that, so we just need to communicate with her. But anytime that there's stuff that's on our calendar, she's putting it up a week to two.
I was gonna say, I think she has the clothing drive.
I do too, I think I
She's-
saw it on
she's-
there.
I've instructed her to put at
It's
least
just
2 weeks in
Mondays.
advance.
Yeah, I was like, and it can be 3 little lines, you know,
Clothing drive, March 21st.
And the time, and the times, yeah.
Yeah. She's really good about that stuff.
Yeah.
She's good at getting graphics on there and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Well, she's fancy.
They're all
Tech savvy.
swirly and,
Tech savvy.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
been having fun with it. So if you feel like you wanna help, but you don't wanna do this part, there's lots of other things to do, right? Talk to a mom about being our auction item getter all year, just ask people for stuff. And she's like,
That'd be so
that would be amazing, right? Like, go into business, go into Target every other month. Can I
And
have a
it
gift card?
doesn't
Can I
have to
a
be
gift
just
card?
one
Target
mom,
won't do
she
it.
could get a group of 3 or 4 moms and say,
Yeah.
let's do this.
Or
Let's
just a
rock it
sales
out.
That's what we
shopper,
do.
I would love that, to see
That's
somebody
what-
just be like, I'll just shop
what we used to
sales, and
do.
if I see something that you guys might need, I'll just grab it when it's on sale, and we'll just pay you back, that would be great.
Yeah, all those things that,
But as I said, that's what we used to do. We used to go start at baseline and work all the way down to there, and we'd just team up and hit
Yeah.
every single shop around.
Heidi Rush's room care mom. There's been
Yeah.
quite a few helpers
Yeah,
this
lots
year.
of-
lots of people making it work, so, yeah. So,
Made a difference.
anyway, submit your nominations.
Yes.
You're
I wanna say
nominating
thank you
someone
for all of you
Yes,
who have done it,
thank you.
because honestly, it's a lot of fun to work with an organized group, and it makes it where you want to share your time and volunteer, and everyone has put in so much. So, and Randy specifically, with all the
Yes.
emails and things I see you doing, I know. I'm like, I don't want your job, because you are like full time.
Okay,
She gets the
technically,
crown.
this is my job. This is my only real job. is
But
to
you do
produce this piece of
110.
paper
But
once
she
a
does
month.
so much
That's
So
my
web
only job.
developer.
30 hours in one
So
week
much
on
more.
website.
Well, you're that's what I, like
And it's
the
been
auction
nonstop.
online and things like that, I have stole some ideas from you specifically because, yeah, it's
I have been
impressive.
on vacation and literally gotten texts from her in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and picked up the phone and just started chatting.
What do you do?
All right, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, what else?
I mean, we could have a few of those.
We did.
I wake up in the morning, there was like 100 messages with you all, I wasn't sleeping, so.
I know. I've
And
missed,
yeah,
I've
Oh, I
missed
have more
your
things that I
teachers.
haven't rolled out yet for productivity.
She started the, I was gonna say Facebook, that's not right, Instagram account too, right?
Yeah.
You're
We haven't
managing
posted
that
anything.
on top of.
We haven't posted anything on it other than cross-posting maybe,
Okay.
but I have to get there first. No, I have, productivity things like, I have a sister-in-law who's in marketing, and she's like, oh, I have this text thread thing where you can mark different categories, so like, our personal stuff's intermixed with all of our, like, business stuff, and so there's a way to like, have one text thread that separates all that stuff, like you can categorize your texts and search your texts. And then there's another, shared,
Is that
they're
an
like
app
little
or what is
cards,
that?
yeah, it's an app, and then there's also cards that you can do, like breaking up Kids Night Out into different cards, you can assign cards to different people within the network. I'm still working. This will be a full-fledged business in a few years, so.
We'll be paying her for her service.
I know. Maybe can I be your assistant just to learn all this with you?
Yes.
But your youngest is in kindergarten, right? No.
Yes,
We got a few
this is
years.
kindergarten, we got a few years.
You're gonna be right back.
Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Yes,
Thank you, Cindy, thank you.
We said $5 off Kids Night Out, so make sure we get me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys wrote it down, so thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yep.
See you, Lisa. Okay.
Anything else you guys need us to know about? Anything you wanna share? Oh, how to spend the 15,000.
Oh.
Ideas.
Oh, I was thinking the skate line.
Grass.
Oh, Skateland
It's all
is
good
all
and
set,
confirmed.
yeah.
We've got our time, 12:45.
Sweet, my kids are excited.
I forgot, did they give us flyers?
Yes.
They will, yeah.
Okay.
I
When
asked
is it?
her to give me the
Last
flyers,
At 12:45.
1st of March, 1st of May, and then I will bring them to you guys and have.
Are we
them all.
busing our kids?
Are we allowed to use their graphic?
I'll ask her.
Okay, so put it on Facebook and put it on the.
Okay.
I'm sure. Yeah, they said all kinds of marketing materials.
Okay.
They'd send us, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's best if it's a JPEG.
A JPEG? Okay.
All right, so I had
And then
one
they're offering food
suggestion
too.
for spending is
is
to
it that
finally
sad?
fix the playground.
Yeah, Kinder.
Kinder Playground.
Kinder Playground, yeah.
No, it's
Before we
for
get
them.
in big trouble.
I know this probably is just my problem, but like, with the kindergartners are really far from a bathroom, that's probably too expensive, but like, I didn't even know one of those fancy porta potty trailers or something, cause they just have, my daughter has medical stuff, and it's just really hard. I almost didn't go to this school because of the bathroom problem. Like, she has to go a lot, and they're really far away from the kindergartners, and even though she's not gonna be in kindergarten next year, I just know if there's like something to do, or if that's just like rearranging the rooms or what, but like, little kids just come from preschool to kindergarten, it's really hard to
Because they're used to having a bathroom in the classroom.
Even when
And
I was
a
in
water
kindergarten, there was a
fountain.
toilet in the bathroom.
And a
Well,
you know,
but see, you know what happened,
running
you weren't
water.
here, okay, so, all the kindergartners used to be where the second grade is.
Yeah.
And then they went through, this district went through the thing, the whole state went through the thing, where they gave every kindergarten teacher in the state a pink slip. Because they didn't know that they were gonna be able to fund kindergarten. And so they basically said, well, if we're gonna do that, we're just gonna earmark these pods out here for the kindergarten, because we don't know whether we're gonna have them anymore, so we just need to make sure the ones that we do have the good classrooms. And that's what they did. And so then you have these pods out here, and, okay, who's the messiest, dirtiest, but yet needs to be kept the cleanest, and they don't have water, they don't have places to wash their hands. I'm serious, I don't mean it, I love the teachers to death, but when my oldest was in kindergarten, Ms. Warren was a teacher, and whoever was out there made sure that all the kindergartners went to the bathroom and washed their hands before they were allowed to go back into their classrooms. And what I've seen over the last few years is, we just take them back to the classroom, they use hand sanitizer maybe, they go two at a time to the bathroom, constantly interrupting classwork, you know, so it's like, you know, I don't think there's anything we can do though. We're kind of gridlocked, you know, unless they can put an exterior hand washing station.
We tried that, we built some.
What do you mean,
Over the summer.
built some?
We
Yeah.
had even just little portable ones, but they don't
Yeah.
work.
And what?
And even the one that has to be
You putting
wired.
the hand sink out there?
The one that.
We can't tap into the water lines the way they're run. We can't
There
like.
has to be electrical in order to do it, and they can't get the electrical out to it. It just doesn't work. We've asked, trust me,
We've had people drop plans in the
I
last couple
wanted
years
this.
to get it.
we fought for it.
We tried foot pump ones,
Yeah.
temporary foot pumps into a bucket and then dumping the buckets, refilling that. We've tried every version to
There's
try and do it.
actually a hand washing station that's here, or it used to be over there.
Where?
I don't know where it is now, but it used to be in the storage.
Have you seen new porta
Well-
potty companies have their portable hand washing
Yeah.
stations? We see
Yeah,
those
they're
here.
about
It took to the, yeah.
1,500. I put
To purchase? How expensive to maintain? How much maintenance do they need? Like,
Because it goes like a, what do you call those things that you drive, campers, you have to probably refill the water tank.
yeah, I'm sure, it's all single.
But the
self-contained
question is,
system.
does it have to have a heater
No.
to make the water hot or
No.
warm?
You just need soap and
I
water.
don't think the
Yeah.
water's
Soap and
heated in
water.
that
Cold water's,
anyway.
cold water's fine.
It's Arizona, it's warm.
Anyway.
And we have cold literally.
I think the problem then becomes it becomes stagnant water that sits in there over time, and then you've gotta refill the water, and then you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what I
get
was
the
saying,
key
is
in order to get the hose to
Yeah.
fill the water and take it back into the classroom.
I think there's more pressing needs at the time, but.
I mean, it.
Oh, I thought you meant you were gonna put it outside,
I was thinking
attached
outside.
to a porta potty.
But
Cause
I'm
we
not for
have the
porta potty.
issue, we
I'm
have
not
the
for porta
issue
potty.
of,
We're
you
not for
know.
porta potty. But I don't
The
know.
one that goes outside, we had one. They had one.
A professional one?
Yeah, yeah, it was in the closet for who knows how long. Last year at least, Shane had it. I thought it was green.
Yeah.
It was
For
really
that
cool,
kid,
it was really nice. You use
But
your
it just
foot
doesn't.
to, but he couldn't get it all hooked up because it required electrical and then they couldn't get it because every time they
Okay,
wanted to
so,
turn it
okay,
on,
this
that
brings
required
up-
the key and they couldn't release the key and then there was.
So this brings up the thing about dumping everything we can into a grant. If I can get the grant things rolling, we have to have specifics, we have to be able to give them complete documentation of what the money's gonna be spent on and what we want to move forward with it. So if we want trees, if we want a water filling station,
Well, one of the things that as far as like the kindergarten situation, the district is going to do a safety assessment, and so I always bring up those portables. With them not having to remodel as much for GCA, and then, but kinda complicated. But, I continue to request that they build us a building like what they did at Patterson.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee of it right now, but that's something that I keep trying to request, because then the whole plumbing thing, because this school was built in 1987. So like, even if I were to request another portable, they have to redo the line and the electrical to put a new portable out there, cause it doesn't meet code. So they can't just hook it up to something that was there before, so
Right.
they have to start from scratch. And so that's my vision, is to make that a regular building out there.
I don't see why they can't do it, because, okay, so,
They can't,
you
it's
would
just
think
what
they would
everyone said.
prioritize doing one here than on Patterson campus, because Patterson and Neely were built by the same construction design people. It's almost an identical campus, but they're like, and we're like, with our buildings. There's like so much distance.
But it's just a matter of when they asked and when we
Yeah.
asked, and there was money when they asked, and there wasn't money when
Yeah.
we've asked.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is if,
Yeah.
okay, so I know that there are a couple of places, you know, it's just a matter of getting the grants written and having somebody look over them and making sure that we're ready, we're dotting our, crossing our trees, crossing our trees. That would do the trees and lumping in a water refilling station, replacing the water fountain in the cafeteria. Because there's a company that,
Oh, that does
GCA
that.
is
There's
doing
the
it.
bottles.
Yeah.
GCA is doing it already, we've allocated it
And
for
Junior's
two,
doing it.
for two of them. And basically, they have a retrofit of the bi-level drinking station with the water filling station in it, and you just basically remove that and put that in. And the thing I pushed to them was, okay, so we're saying it's $1,300 for this piece of equipment, however, we cannot dip into the school's budget for the electrical and the water, and if they